Hello there, fellow cultists. This is DM Nell. Welcome to another session of Shadow the Demon Lord Talk. For whose ever turn it is to take notes, we are on session 63, I believe. And oh, sorry, forgot. Uh, it's required to wear hoods from now on in these sessions. So, something HR said that we had to do to protect our identities, but you know what? Screw HR. Let's uh, let's go a little crazy here and go hoodless. So let's talk about some Demon Lord stuff, shall we? Now, first thing I want to talk about is what the topic for today is, and that topic is disciples. You all. That's right, you guys. Without you, we wouldn't have a cult, would we? So, yay to us, the cultists. But I'm actually singling out those of you that could contribute more to the cult than the rest of us do. Um, and that would be those that we deem as the disciples of the demon lord. Yes, those of you who actually create content for the demon lord and for the demon lord's cult. And so I have decided in today's session to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is to actually pick out some of the items that I've purchased for or from the disciples of the demon lord, and kind of talk them over, talk about the things that I like about them. um, Now I haven't purchased a whole lot. uh, Admittedly, I haven't purchased probably as much as I'd like out of the disciples of the demon lord, but I have purchased a few things. So today I'm going to talk about four items in particular, and those items are Ancestral Shadows from disciples Jared Caldwell, Ronnie Anderson, and the Raw Press, which is in no way a rival to the cult. It is a sister cult or a sub cult or a brother cult, however you want to call it. So don't go after them. They're with us. So yeah, Ancestral Shadows, then Demonic Solo Rules for Shadow of the Demon Lord from disciple Peter Rudin Burgess. Journeys in Shadow from brother or sister cult Black Candle Games and disciples Jerry Leneve and Ben Menard, who may or may not be affiliated with the Menards cult. Don't really deal with those guys too much. I usually go to the um, Costco cult myself, but at any rate, um, and then the last one we'll talk about is the Rite and Ritual from disciple L.E. Arias. All right, so all of these titles can be found on the Disciples of the Demon Lord page of Drive Through RPG, as you would be able to see if my ugly mug wasn't in the way. So let's chat these up, shall we? So what I would normally do is I would normally pull up the item and review the PDF, but I don't want to do that because these guys work hard on this stuff, and as well intentioned as the internet is, um, don't want people not purchasing these because they are cheap and they just decide to do screenshots of the item. So instead, what I'm going to do is pull these up in Drive Through RPG and just kind of talk from that. All right, so as you can see, I have purchased each of these, and let's start with Ancestral Shadows. Now, Ancestral Shadows is an interesting product, and one that I think is great for sparking ideas when you are in the campaign creation phase. Now, my last video was about creating a campaign, so this product here would actually go very well in that brainstorming phase, trying to figure out what shadow you want to use. Now, the interesting thing about this product let's see if we can't get a bigger shot of the preview screen here. So here we go, Ancestral Shadows. So the interesting thing about this one is, or this product is that it has a number of shadows that are based off of Shadow of the Demon Lord ancestries. Now, as you know, the shadows of the Demon Lord are those campaign backdrops that basically spur the campaign. It is a little bit of um, the Demon Lord's essence bleeding through, causing things to go crazy and awry, pushing the world towards that inevitable apocalypse. And so there's a bunch of them in the Shadow of the Demon Lord core rulebook. Those are expanded upon in the Hunger and the Void book. And now this product here gives you a bunch of new ones. This is actually something I've been thinking about doing myself, just for myself, but haven't gotten around to it. But this product actually has a lot of great ideas, and I would like to go ahead and just talk about some of them. Again, I don't want to pull this up on the screen to show you all, but I will read from my second monitor here as soon as I get it opened. And we are talking about Ancestral Shadows. Here we go. Okay, so some of the interesting, there's a bunch of them in here. I counted them. I forgot how many there are since when I counted. I had a little bit of time over the holiday weekend to read some of my PDFs, and um, these four, the ones I picked, are the ones that I read over the weekend. So, all right. So one of them is the birth of Chavra. Now, Chavra is an entity that the Naga believe exists. I believe is their creators, their god. And the Naga were presented in the Demon Lord's Companion 2. Demon Lord's Companion 2, which I have right to my left here. Aha! This bad boy. So the Naga are those serpent-bodied, human torso, humanoid torsoed people. Here's a nice little Naga picture. Yeah. So anyway, the Naga believe of this in this entity known as the Chavra, and their universe was destroyed by the Demon Lord. Either their world or the universe. This is their world, but in my version of Shadow of the Demon Lord, the Demon Lord destroys universes. So he doesn't just go destroying world by world. He would find your universe and then slurp it up, and the whole universe is gone, including all the worlds in it. So that's what happened to the Chavras, but they managed to escape, and they took with it the cosmic egg, which they believe is the egg in which their god will be birthed from in whatever new world they settle. Well, they settled on Earth, and now they just wait for the egg to give birth and their god to come. So this particular shadow has to do with the cosmic egg and the order that the Naga believe will come about as a result of the birthing of the Chavra. And so, what this product also does, it emulates what the Shadow of the Demon Lord, no, it emulates what the Hunger and the Void does by giving you some guidance on how to set up this shadow for each tier of your campaign. So, for example, this one starts off with a controlling voice. Upset with the lack of support from most other civilizations, the Naga use their mastery of order magic to force everyone to do their bidding. They believe that only through them can Earth hope to fight off the Demon Lord. Individuals start to lose free will and obey the orders of the Naga, of any Naga they see. So Naga start coming out in droves. They start infiltrating society and using order magic to get people to obey. So, obey. Maybe they use order magic to infiltrate things by making themselves look like normal people, but you can tell that they're not normal by wearing these special glasses. Yeah, I like it. It's almost like a movie I saw once. So that is the novice tier. Then you got the hunting chaos, which is the expert tier, which escalates from there, and then you have the perfect order, which escalates from there. So I'm not going to read all that, um, but anyway, the uh, the the thing that the shadow is perpetuating here is an increasing um, order status, which means free will goes bye bye. People get controlled by the Naga, and eventually the only people that have free will that are left that are would be the adventurers and a few prisoners or people that the Naga have yet to get to. So what the hell is this? Oh well, yeah, thanks. So anyway, that's the first one that is in here. You've there, like I said, there's a bunch of them in here. Um, Descendants of Gog, Dwarf Uprising, kind of like that one, Dwarf Uprising. The dwarves basically their innate sense of greed just starts going haywire, and they covet all the land, they covet all the treasure in the land, they covet everything that everybody else has, and so the dwarves basically wage war on the rest of the world to you increase their holdings and their wealth. The Empire returns. Endless migrations. That has to do with centaurs, which would be interesting, except unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of information on centaurs, um, which is kind of a gap in the whole Shadow of the Demon Lord lore. There is one product that highlights centaurs as an ancestry, but as far as the lore of the centaur and the endless step, there's not a whole lot there. So you, as a DM, you'd have to do probably a lot of work to get this particular shadow to work for you. Fear the Skies. This has to do with entities called Stolians, or an ancestry called the Stolians, which apparently was featured in a product called Wings and Glamour. Let me see if I can pull that up and show you. Okay, so this is Wings and Glamour. I have not purchased this one yet. So this is a ancestry that is on the Drive-Thru RPG, and I have not purchased it yet, so I cannot speak to it. But this particular shadow features that race or that ancestry. Let's see, fungal infections. That has to do with. Let's see if I can remember. This has to do with the brood. Brood of the mother spore. So this is a product that was actually released by Schwalbe Entertainment, and it highlights the ancestry of the shoot. What are they called? Why do I never have my rulebook down here? Okay, so the bug creatures, the broodlings. That's what they are. So this has to do with the broodlings, and this particular shadow deals with the. Let's see, I don't remember this one. So, okay, so they call them the saprophycans. Saprophycans. And you know what? I'm wondering if this is the brood. I'm not sure this is the brood now that I'm reading this. And when I was reading it earlier this weekend, I also thought the same thing. So I'm actually going to have to do some research on this because it's calling them the saprophycans. Emerge from the deepest parts of the darkest forests and take over the remote lumber towns and small farms. Only those immune to disease can avoid succumbing to this fate. So I'm not sure that this is the broodlings. I'm thinking it may not be. So I'm gonna have to do some research on this. But anyway, that's one. Goblin Rising. So goblins start reproducing like crazy for some reason, and they strive to take over the world. The Greater Good. This one has to do, which one? Oh, I forget this one. Yes, this one has to do with um, the genies that had merged with the barrier that separates this universe from the void, and the barrier starting to collapse. So the genies that make up the barrier, um, their last ditch effort to try to save the universe is to merge their essence with mortals. So they all turn into incarnations, which is an ancestry featured in Hunger in the Void, which I featured in a video a few back. Um, and so they start possessing mortals and try to get people to rise up against the demon lord. All right, Hell on Earth. This features the rise of greater devils from hell, and this is actually pretty interesting shadow, because I was wanting to do crud. Hold on. My wire is caught on my chair. All right. I was wanting to do and I have to cross my legs because I'm uncomfortable. I was wanting to do a shadow or a campaign based on Exquisite Agony uh, that featured the Greater Devils starting to enact some of their plans, because, Diabolus is over here kind of cooped up in his palace, ignoring his duties. And so all the Greater Devils are taking advantage of that and doing their own thing. So that would be a great campaign. This particular shadow that is highlighted in this product gives some ideas on how to do that. It also provides some additional corruption effects, which is cool. There's a table for corruption based off of each of the Greater Devils. So there's one for Tilahar, Mother of Filth, um, Olal, the Desire in Flesh, Abaddon, the Warfather, Gothera, the Sower of Descent, Ithritonus, the Deceiver, and Zutab, the Obscene. So each one of those greater devils has a corruption table, and these corruptions start spreading as each one of these start not infiltrating, but start enacting their plans upon Earth. So that's a cool one. We've got a couple in here that have to do with Woad, and I have to be honest with you, the Woad are not my favorite ancestry in Shadow of the Demon Lord. I really kind of don't like them. I don't know why. They just don't do anything for me, I guess. So I really didn't read too much about the Woad um, shadows. So I'm just going to have to skip over that. Locking the Gates of Death. This one's pretty cool. The Gates of Death are locked up, and you begin your undead zombie apocalypse. So who doesn't love that? This one provides a bunch of tables so that when mortals begin to die, instead of their souls going to the underworld or to hell, they rise up as an undead. And so it provides various tables on how or what kind of undead they would come up as based on various attributes. Let's see here. Luckless, manufactured parts. That one has to do with the Chimerical, which is another ancestry that is another Disciples of the Demon Lord product that I have not purchased. Uh, so that's what I really like about this product. It actually takes not only official Schwalbe Entertainment ancestries, but it also builds on different ancestries created by other disciples, which is really pretty cool. Say March of the Giants, New Orc Empire, remade in our image. This one is the Cog God, and I want to do a shadow based on this, so I will probably steal shamelessly from that one. And anyway, there's a bunch more, so I'm not going to go through all of these. I definitely don't have time, and I don't want to spoil any of this. But there's very cool shadows in this product. Highly recommend it, and especially if you like to create different campaigns like I do, even though you may not have enough time left in your lifespan to run them all. This gives you tons of ideas. So Ancestral Shadows, good stuff. All right. So what is my next pick? That's a good question. My next pick would be, go back to my library. Demonic solo rules for Shadow the Demon Lord. So, I really didn't know what to think about this one when I purchased it. And let me pull this up. There we go. So, like I said, I really didn't know what to think about it when I got it. It was, a good price, and it features solo rules for playing Shadow the Demon Lord by yourself. Now, I really don't have time to do that. But as I started thinking about, it, it might be a good way to test out some of the things that you're wanting to throw at your players. And by having some solo rules to help guide you through a solo adventure, you might be able to introduce some of the things that you've created and just kind of test it out by yourself if you don't have an opportunity to test it out with an actual playtest group, just to kind of get a feel for whether your creation is functional, or if it's overpowered or underpowered or whatever. So I purchased it with that in mind. Now, does it help in that regard? I don't know. To be honest with you, I was kind of reading through this, and I was left scratching my head just a little bit because I'm not super sure how it works. So what I ended up doing a Google search for demonic solo rules for Shadow the Demon Lord, and I found that somebody else had already done a review of this product on Reddit. So since I wasn't really getting it, I went ahead and pulled it up, and you can just do a search for demonic solo rules for Shadow the Demon Lord, and you should be able to find this like I did. So this is a pretty thorough review. Now, I don't do reviews because you know, I just don't feel like I am any better at judging the quality of a product than anybody else. I know what I like, but I have no idea what you like. So I leave that up to you to decide. But as far as the content goes, I like talking about what I like. This guy actually goes into full review, including tool presentation, the system itself, various information, and then his or her summary. I don't know if it's a he or she that did this, but at any rate, this is a review that kind of breaks down the system and kind of dumbs it down for me and I needed to be dumbed down because I'm dumb. But yeah, after reading through this, I don't know if it will really help with what I'm looking for in being able to test products that I create for my games, that is. But it is a way to play a solo game, which again, I already stated I'm not really kind of interested in. But if you are interested in doing solo gaming, and I know there are people out there that are, then this might be a good product for you. It's fairly, well priced. Right now, it's on sale for $2, normally priced at $2.99. So if you're into solo gaming and you dig Shadow the Demon Lord, then here you go. I mean, this product is made for you. Now, before I go past this, I just want to highlight a couple of the features of the system that makes it work as a solo system. So basically, you have something called the Oracle and the Augur. The Oracle is a way of determining which way a scenario goes. So you have to present your question to the Oracle in a yes or no manner. Um, and then the Augur gives you, more detailed information on what happens in that encounter. So that's kind of the system that is used for this. I'm not super sure how it works. I read through it a couple times, and like I said, I would actually have to sit down and start trying to play through a solo game, which, like I said, I just don't really have the time or the inclination to do. But anyway, yeah. So there you go. Those are the rules for solo Shadow of the Demon Lord play. All right. So my next item is Journeys in Shadow. All right, so Journeys in Shadow, this is a product that I kind of debated getting because it highlights a part of role-playing games that I tend to skip over. And I think a lot of people skip over the journeys involved in role-playing games simply because they tend to be pretty boring. Um, So that is what this product is designed to make those scenes where you're going from point A to point B, and which may cover hundreds of miles and could span weeks. It gives extensive rules on how to make that travel interlude interesting. So I went ahead and picked it up just because I was curious as to how it might work and if it indeed would incentivize me to actually take time to create a journey scene to include some of these things. I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence because basically my idea of a journey would be that the journey would have to be the adventure itself. So the journey would basically be the opponent is the wilderness and everything in the wilderness. And so that would be, that would be what your adventurers would be trying to overcome. And that involves a lot of things that can be kind of repetitive and can be, kind of like I said earlier, boring. But again, this product provides rules for making this type of adventure more interesting. So what do you have in this product? You have expanded overland travel rules, which provides I'm just reading from the header page here, a new system for tracking time while traveling, as well as new terrain definitions and specific bonuses and penalties incurred when traversing them. So there's already some of those rules in the core rulebook, and this expands upon that. Surviving the elements. This provides a new exposure test, which I think is needed because the exposure mechanics in the core rulebook, I don't think they're as brutal as they need to be. So this product actually provides a new one, um, which I haven't tested yet, so I can't say if it's better or not, but it reads pretty good. Camping and camp activities. This is pretty interesting. It gives an opportunity for players or the characters to actually do fireside stories, and it's a great role playing opportunity. Exhaustion rules, new mechanic detailing the physical manifestations and penalties of pushing a player character's physical capabilities to the limit. Starvation rules, deprivation rules, and misery rules. Okay, so again, these are all things that are part of a long journey. And again, the world in this type of adventure, the world itself is the opponent. Once you finally get to your destination, you're a mess because you had to go hundreds of miles over difficult terrain, through difficult weather, encountering all kinds of creatures in the wild. Um, straining your endurance to the limit, managing your resources properly so you can make it from point A to point B. Um, and that is a special type of adventure that I personally don't feel like I'm qualified to run yet. I'd have to give it some serious thought, and that would have to be the focus of my, or at least a big portion of my adventure or my campaign, would have to be that travel. Uh, so this is a great product to assist with that if you want to incorporate that into your game. So Journeys in Shadow, Looks like it is normally priced at $4.50 on Drive-Thru RPG, but you can get it now for $3.60, which I think is a bargain considering that you have tons of pages. I forget how many pages this has, but it's a pretty lengthy product. So it's got a lot of chunky bits in it. All right, moving on. The next item and the last item is Rite and Ritual. All right, Rite and Ritual. This is interesting because I hadn't considered this for Shadow of the Demon Lord, but I had considered something similar for other role-playing games. But now that's here for Shadow of the Demon Lord, I was very interested to pick this up and read through it. And I really like what I read here. This basically provides a way to cast any spell as a ritual, and it allows the caster to incorporate other people or to use rites to change the nature of the spell to increase it, or to modify it to some degree, kind of like meta magic. And it kind of focuses on the higher level spells that you can't normally cast because you don't have enough power. And using the rites, you can increase the level of your power by doing certain things like sacrifices, incorporating sacrifices into your ritual, getting others to join into the ritual, that sort of thing. So, rites is actually broken up into two different types of rites. There are the rites that help improve um, the casting of the ritual by upping the power level and granting you one or two or even maybe even more points of power by doing certain things. And then the other rights are the metamagic ones that I mentioned a moment ago. Um, so this is a really cool product. If you're into the magic side of role playing games, which I am, I dig wizards. I usually run a wizard. Currently running a wizard, although not in Shadow of the Demon Lord. Um, but I dig magic systems, and this is a great addition to the Shadow of the Demon Lord magic system. Now, I say that with a caveat in that I've not actually incorporated this into a game as of yet. I will probably do so in my next Shadow of the Demon Lord game, whenever that is. But it reads really well. I really enjoyed reading through this PDF, and I can see it being a good addition to the game. But the true test comes with the when the product actually sees play at the table. So I'll have to wait and see how it actually plays. But it's really interesting read. So I recommend it for no other reason, just to read through a supplement to the magic system for the game. There was another supplement to the magic system to the game that I reviewed a while back, which was catastrophic magic or catastrophe magic. I forget which one it was called, but that remains one of my favorite disciples offerings so far. And this is number two. I really enjoyed reading through this. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That is all that I wanted to cover in today's meeting. So once again, I appreciate everybody's participation. Hope you all had a nice long holiday weekend. However, it's now time to go back to your culting activities. So go out there and damn it, be your best cult. Be your best at being a cultist, I should say. Do some culting over the next few days. Just don't get caught. So, with that, meeting's adjourned, I think.